Welcome to MCC Made, the official podcast of Metropolitan Community College.
Giving you a backstage pass to all things MCC with your hosts, Emma Frazier and Katherine Riggs.
So
We're switching it up today.
we're switching it up. We had such a great conversation with our guest that we just want to get right into it.
Yeah.
He had so much to say, and we had so much fun talking with him. So you'll hear us yap another day about.
Yeah, there's plenty of time for that. So
Let's just get into the episode.
today on the podcast, we have Kane Adkisson. He is the chef and owner of Kano. And he is a James Beard Award nominated chef and an MCC alum. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we just like to usually start off with people telling us their lore. So if you just want to tell us about yourself, like, are you from Omaha? How did you end up at MCC?
Yeah.
However much you want to share, and
sure.
your lore is fine with us.
Yeah, I'll bring everybody up to speed, I guess,
right.
of up to the MCC days. I was born and raised in Omaha. Went to Central High School and attended the TAC building or the Career Center there, and that's kind of how I got my foot in the door with Metro. I've always loved cooking as a kid, and in high school there was a culinary team competition that. I'm very competitive. I have an older and younger brother, so it
comes naturally.
Yeah, competition's fun, and I loved cooking, loved creating. My brothers and I are all very artistic, so cooking was a very natural kind of transition. And both my grandmothers and my mom are all great cooks, and that. In high school, going to the Career Center, I was able to get dual enrollment, and college was always one of those things that if we wanted to do it, we had to pay for it, and as most kids in high school. And so at the Career Center, my GPA allowed me to apply for the presidential scholarship and get a full ride. So,
okay.
Yeah, I applied. I think it was only me and one other kid, actually, that had a GPA that could qualify for that scholarship,
Brag.
unfortunately. But
Top two, he ain't number two.
Yeah. I got a full ride, and that's how I ended up at Metro. And hindsight, I don't think there was a better place to land.
Yeah, especially because we're always interested in cooking. So really, it seems like a natural choice. So just tell us about your time here when you were in the culinary program.
Yeah, I had a very unorthodox career here at Metro, I would say. Yeah,
intrigue.
On the way here, I was trying to think, like, do I give the nitty gritty or do I kind of okay, because I didn't want it to come, I never say anything bad about Metro, and I want to preface with, like, my experience here was amazing. If it wasn't for this place, I would not be where I'm at today. And I think, like any industry or no matter what schooling you go to, there are hurdles, there are people you don't get along with, there's negatives, but there's also equal amount of positives. I think my time at Metro was really special, though, for many reasons. I think the connections, Omaha's a tight food scene.
Yes.
I think, as we just discovered.
Yes.
We have a lot of mutual friends.
We know a lot of the same people.
Yeah. And I think, being in Omaha's a decent sized city, but being in a smaller town vibe like Omaha, I think, word gets around, people know everybody. And, but yeah, when I came to Metro, I kind of fell in love with it. I had a lot of mentors from the Career Center that were here on the competition team. And it was kind of like I don't want to say grooming, but like they were like,
We don't. Yeah.
I was
there
like,
has to be a better word for
mentoring.
Mentoring. Yeah, I guess
there must be a better word for that.
They were mentoring me to come to Metro and to kind of fall in the footsteps that they were at. And when I got here, I was amazed by the facilities. I think the instructors were amazing, and just the access to resources that, before I accepted the scholarship, I really wanted to go to Johnson & Wales or CIA. I think when you're competitive and you want to be the best, you're like, where do I go? What are the best schools? And realistically, I think there's no better school than Metro. I mean, I think the big CIAs in Johnson & Wales, I've cooked with a lot of kids or people that have come out of there, and I think they're just maybe given slightly better opportunities, but never opportunities that I couldn't have gotten myself. And
Right.
Sure.
and here we are, we all ended up at the same place anyways, and it's like, you're $60,000 in debt, and I'm...
And I am not.
And here we are plucking the same pieces of time. And I love
Great equalizer.
Yeah. It's like we're all doing the same thing and getting paid the same. But I loved Metro. My time here was interesting. I was a very overly confident cook. I'll
Sure.
admit that when I was younger, and I did need some humbling. And when I got to Metro, I guess why I say my time was unorthodox here was, all the way up to, I think, my first year, I did my normal, I showed up to classes. I did all my prerequisites. I had some classes already checked off just from high school. And then when I got here, school to me was one of those things where, like, I was never, like, I always had good grades. I was on National Honor Society, Purple Feather. Like, I excelled in school.
Yeah.
That's like all the, like, Purple Feather was, hey, you have a 3.5 or higher GPA. There's like,
It's a central thing.
yeah,
Right.
National Honor Society.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was like, I know a national. Yeah.
and
right.
NHS was cool. I always loved excelling. I liked being involved in school or extracurriculars and stuff. But when I got to Metro, I was a full-time student and also working full-time at the boiler room as like a line cook. And, and it's hard to, like, at the time, I really wanted to do cooking or like the culinary competition team and the Olympics team and all of that stuff. And, those are also great opportunities that Metro provides that I think are hard to kind of get your foot in anywhere else.
Right.
And I remember I wanted to try out so bad, and one of my old mentors at the boiler room, Tim Nicholson, he told me,
Shout out to
yeah,
Tim.
and we love Tim, another
We
Metro
do
alum.
love him. Yes.
And one thing I always loved about Tim was, he held me accountable and he kept me honest, and really, like, I think he knew who I was before I knew who I was. And I think that's kind of crucial for anybody who's young. You need to remember your identity, and, there's the old saying of, if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. And,
Right.
And so I had mentioned to him, hey, I really want to try out for the culinary team Olympics and all this. And he's like, there's just two types of cooks in this world. There's competition cooks and there's you. And it was kind of just a nice way to say, like, you're not a and, hindsight, I get what he was saying. When I was, 18, 17, I was like, Dad, what are you telling? Like, I want to pursue and better myself. I think this is a way. But there are just some cooks that are better with, focusing on one task at hand in a big team, and then, like, it all comes together. And then there's, like, your day-to-day real life. I mean, culinary team and real life cooking are completely
Very different. Yeah.
There's similarities. It's obviously cooking, but it's just completely different timing and realistic expectations, and how you conduct yourself and compose yourself. And so I remember Tim kind of telling me, like, you're a restaurant cook. And I remember then I kind of started realizing that, start focusing on, like, what restaurants you want to go, where you want to go, and where you want to end up. And so Metro, kind of going back to, like, I just never liked school. At this point, when I graduated high school, even in high school, I had already staged at, Blue Stem and Justice Drugstore, couple restaurants out in San Mateo and San Francisco, and then
We're circling back a lot in this because I feel like you're dropping things, but I don't want to get off track. So.
And it just, like, I was so eager to get out of Omaha. I had worked at Boiler Room for a few years at this point. I felt like I knew what I was doing, or how to, like, compose myself and how to keep up in these kitchens. And then I'd also traveled to the restaurants where you'd want to get a job after culinary school,
right?
And then they offer you a job, and it's hard to, like, well, I have to go back and finish school, and I have this,
Well, it's like, why finish school when somebody's already offering you a job?
When I can be in the job I want to be in.
Yeah. And so for me, the minute, like, I left Omaha to, start doing these internships and stages, I was like, oh, I just don't want to go back. Like, I'm just ready to move and get out.
Going. Yeah.
And I again, school is just one of those things I didn't want to finish, but my parents were very adamant, and they've always been like this since we were little kids. Like, if you start something, you got to finish it. I started band in elementary school. That's my earliest memory of like, and the teacher was so mean, always yelled, and I hated it, and I cried, and actually that teacher ended up being the music teacher at my mom's school a few years later, and she was like, I actually get it. I understand why you wanted to
so
quit.
sorry.
Yeah, and typical parenting.
Yeah. My parents would have done the same. Be like, oh, actually, I get.
Yeah,
Sure.
you need
I'm
to.
so sorry.
Yeah.
But
sorry.
I think the lesson learned was if you start something, you need to finish it, no matter how hard, no matter how mean. And little did I know that was going to give me the thick skin I needed in these kitchens of just like, I'm not going to quit. You're not going to beat me. I'm
Right.
Like I'm too stubborn to give in. And so, school was one of those things I really wanted to get out. And I did a stage out in San Francisco, and I got a job offer, and it's like, all right, I'm ready to go. I was 18, and I remember telling my parents, and they're like, okay. And I remember thinking, darn it, I thought my parents were going to be like, no, you're not moving. I thought like that was going to be
You were so ready to be like, now wait a minute.
Yeah, but I was also
This is
like,
my dream.
but I was also like, please say no so I don't actually have to do, because saying yes is the easy part. And then when you have to like find an apartment and then
In San Francisco.
make all at 18.
Yeah.
Live by yourself.
Making minimum wage.
Yeah.
So
In a big city.
yeah, and like right before, I think it was like a couple days before I was getting ready to move, my dad was like, "You're not moving," and I was like, whew. But also like, what? I'm not like, what do you
Fake,
mean?
like, no, come on.
Yeah, I'm like, but thank you. And but his whole thing was, my dad had, when he was young, moved out to California, and he would always talk about like, oh, you get taken advantage of, and people overstep you, and just there's a lot of. And you're young, and in my head, I'm like, well, you just didn't know what you wanted to do, and I
you
know where I
don't
want
get
to
it,
work.
Dad.
Yeah, like,
I've got my
I'm
dream
18.
job.
I know what I want.
I'm an adult.
Yeah, I know everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, hindsight, I wasn't ready. I'm really glad he said no, and then he was also like, you need to finish school. Like you have a commitment. And it kind of came back down to that. So I finished, or I continued with school. It's an associate's. It's like hindsight's 2 years. Get it done with and get moving.
Yeah.
But 2 years when you're 18
Is a long
It's a
time.
lifetime.
Feels like a life. Well, because you think like, okay, I already had this job offer.
What if
there could be others I'm missing.
Yeah.
Like I could miss out on so much by like being in school, but like also like that time in school is really valuable to maybe get those jobs that you don't know are there.
And it is. It was. And that was one thing I didn't realize. And so when I was here, I took my fine dining class, and this was kind of like the start of the unraveling for me was, I took Solberg, one of the old instructors here at the time. He was like, hey, you should take my fine dining class. And then there was O'Donnell, who was like, hey, you should take my fine dining class.
Uh-oh.
And I had soup sauce with O'Donnell. We had a really hard, busy. I had a lot of chefs, and at the time, that pre-fee week was like the biggest meal of my life. That was my first time I got to cook for all my mentors here. Like all the chefs that I've worked under came out, and all your friends and family. And there's nothing more important than that meal. And like hindsight, no one cared that much, really. Like, I mean, it's like, it's your first menu. No one's actually like, Kane, you suck because this menu is, and
It's not absolutely perfect.
yeah, and like to me, that was it. I went to finish that semester or quarter, and like I failed fine dining. I had a F, and
Oh, no.
I was kind of pissed because I was like, dude, I was at WD 50 in New York, which was like a groundbreaking restaurant. They're closed since, but like WD 50 was, if you know, you know. And
Wiley Dufresne.
Yeah,
I watched Top Chef.
Yeah, and, I like was out there grinding with those cooks, and then I come back, and it's like, this is now just becoming like a ball and chain, it feels like. And then again, that's where my overconfidence and just being, I would say, cocky, and then just being immature and not knowing how to compose yourself under stress and pressure like that. And it bit me, and he had enough reasons of like my chef coat wasn't ironed, and but back to like there's those cooks, and then there's real life cooks where my coat had grease stains, and I wasn't a presentable, like I worked, I had a full-time job, and I'm 18. I'm not. Last thing I'm worried about is
Iron it. Yeah,
does it
I don't
smell
own
clean?
one.
Yeah, it's like, all right, cool, throw it on and rock it another day. But it actually turned out great because Janet Marr, who's the baking instructor at the time, I had the fear of the devil in me with her. I don't know why. I just was like, oh my God, Janet Marr. And then in order to make up for that failed class, I had to pick another class. And bread's base, or I don't remember, it was a bread's class with her. And it was great because she was one of the coolest teachers. She thought it was funny that I failed. Like, it was really, I think what I loved about Metro is just how many instructors were like, dude, really?
Yeah, come on.
But it was nice to know, like, I had support from other teachers. And it's like life goes on. But again, at that point, I had expected to already finish school. The failing fine dining kind of set me back. But I had an internship at a restaurant in Norway because of Solberg. Solberg's like, hey, there's this restaurant.
Of course there is.
And so, but at this point, like, I had already traveled around the U.S. enough, and then I was like, man, I've never been outside of the U.S. Like, I want to go to Europe. I want to just be like, I want to see what it's really about.
Experience that cuisine.
Yeah. And so I was originally going to go to Spain. A lot of communication flaws, just now knowing how Spain is. It's like, well, no, like, duh. They wake up at noon, they eat dinner at midnight. Like, their priority is not to email me back. And so when I was telling Solberg, I was like,
we should all be so lucky.
I know.
Right? And I was telling Solberg, like, hey, this is not really working out how I was expecting. Like, where should I go? And he's like, there's this restaurant called Maemo in Oslo. You should go check it out. And I looked it up that night, and I fell in love. The aesthetics, the branding, the food, the concept, the attitude, perspective towards food, all that. I was like, this is going to be the restaurant I want to land at. And I remember the chef, Espen Hombo Bang, he had kind of a goofy
Incredible
name.
name.
I know.
It's like 10 out of 10 donuts,
So I remember
honestly.
I typed it into my phone just so I could, like, remember what the chef's name was. And then I would send my resume there twice a day for 2 months.
Oh my God.
And then they finally got back to me. So it was like essentially
Incredible.
I would wake up, check my email, no response, send it. And I would like change the title, or I'd kind of change the body.
You made burner accounts?
Just someone take me. And at that point, I had a CV or a resume that was, I'm not saying it was stacked, but it was bulky enough to get an intro or like an entry level spot at one of these kitchens. And I knew I had I thought I knew what I had what it took to be there. And so after 2 months, they finally, I think, just more like just quit emailing us.
They were like, if we talk to you, will you leave us alone?
And they said I could come out for a 3-month minimum, no accommodation, no pay, like just
True staging.
Like it's free. And then I remember what really caught me off guard was when I was reading the email, they said everybody reports at like 7 or 7:30 a.m. and then we'll typically finish around like midnight, 1 a.m. And I was like, this is a joke.
There's no way.
There's no way. And so I hopped online, and Instagram wasn't like as big as it is now. Back then it's like you could kind of hunt down people if you really wanted to get creepy. But I remember I hopped on, I was trying to figure out like who was all working there. And then I went through Instagram and would just try to find these people. And then, hey, do you have any tips? Could you, like, I'm going to be out there and it was like moved out there in January or February. And I was like, is it really this intense? Or like, is this really the hours? And Sebastian Lopez was the cook I actually ended up talking to at the time. And he's like, yeah, no, it's like,
they're not joking.
And because I thought it was one of those, like, this is how we weed out the week right off the bat. Is just, hey, this is our times. And then, and I was like, all right, we're going to do this. So I didn't really, most 18-year-olds don't have anything of value at that age. And so I
the amount of lives you've lived at age 18 already are crazy.
And I finally sold my car. I bought a one-way ticket. I tried saving as much as I could, and looking back, like $1,000 is a lot of money back then. Or like it still is, don't get me wrong, but it's back then when you're 18, you're like, oh, I could live off this for, I could retire.
I'm good.
And I, bought my one-way ticket, get there, And I didn't realize how expensive Oslo was. I couldn't drink legally in the U.S., but you get there and you can have a beer. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go
And then
buy
you're
a
like,
beer.
oh, my $1,000 is done.
One bar tab later. $12 a beer. It
adds up.
Everything. Frozen pizza, just the life of a diet of an 18-year-old.
Yeah,
was
Who
so
thinks that they're an
expensive.
adult, and you're like, yes,
Yeah.
I've done it.
And then I was like, I got 3 months of this without pay. Like,
Oh, dear.
we got to figure it out. But and that was always my attitude. It's just like, jump in, you'll figure it out. And I had a 1 month Airbnb booked, and then I was working at the restaurant, and I told the girls, or like there were some girls that I worked with, and they're like, well, how much do you pay? And they're like, oh my gosh, we have an extra like bed in our apartment. You guys can live with us. And
There you go.
I was like, yeah, this is actually great. And I was like, see, it works out, Mom. I told you.
And she's like, I'm so happy.
Yeah, having a panic attack every time I call.
Don't ask me for money.
She's probably like, are you coming home? Please say you're coming.
Yeah. Have you looked at your credit card statement? And so but I was destined to get a job there. And I got there after a week. I deep down was thinking, I pray they don't accept my job. Just because I was never used to working like that.
Hard.
You know what I mean?
Like super
That's
crazy
a different
hours.
that's a different grit, and that's not just like, hey, show up and twiddle thumbs. I mean, it's like 7:30, you're already anxious, or I mean, the anxiety is through the roof.
Probably didn't sleep well.
No. And you don't sleep well, you don't eat well. You kind of just become a zombie. And like, I look back, I don't know how I did it. I am proud of myself that I did it for as long as I did, but it was super intense. But again, kind of going back to elementary band, like no matter how bad it sucks,
elementary band.
no matter how bad it sucks or how bad the instructor is and someone's yelling at you, like you just need to adapt, overcome, and get through it. And I did tell myself I would do my full year. That was kind of like the season, if you will. And I remember, I was just an intern. I think like the second weekend I saw 4 or 5 line cooks walk out, but there was 23 stages at any given time. So those spots were easily filled. And then I remember I saw one of the meat and fish cooks walk out. And then the next day I was like, I'm going to ask Chef if I can get a job.
Yeah.
And I walk in, and Chef, we're in the locker room, and Chef, I remember, was like taking his pants off, and I was like, oh, this is a bad time, but there's really like...
But I have to.
and
I am prepped and ready to deliver my pitch.
I'm in my apron, I'm ready to go. And I was like, hey, Chef, I would just, so-and-so walked out. I would really like to work here, and just please don't overlook me. And I remember he's like, why do you want to work here? And in my head, I was like, yeah, why do you want to work?
Yeah, wait.
Why do you want to put yourself through this?
I hadn't considered this.
Right. And then I ended up, I was like, oh, the cleanliness. I've never seen a kitchen that clean in my life. I've never seen that many different nationalities in one kitchen at one time. I mean, there was like 25 nationalities at one
that's
time,
cool.
Which was really special. And I didn't realize how fortunate I was to be surrounded by so many different backgrounds and cultures and, perspectives. And, coming from the good old USA, you think the world is America. And then you go there and you're like, oh, these guys are all my age, and this is their 5th 3-star restaurant they worked at, or it's just
casual.
I felt like really behind, and I wanted to
At
like kind
18.
of I think I was 19 at this point.
Oh, okay.
We're getting
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
But like one of the maitre d's was 21, and I thought, damn, how is he already? Or sorry, my bad. But like, how does he get in this role at that age? And like, I'm struggling just to get an internship at this spot. And so I knew, and everybody that was the girls I lived with, one was a cook and one was a server, and they were from the UK, or one was from Poland, one was from UK, but they had already been at all these 3 stars, and just the way how mature they were in a kitchen. I was like, dang it, I need to be better. Yeah, I need to be that. And so, Chef told me that if you get your visa, you have a spot. And so I was like, all right, cool. Well, to get a skilled workers visa, really anywhere in this world, but especially Norway, you have to have a diploma or some sort of schooling. And
we just have to come on back.
So I had reached out to Brian O'Malley, and shout out to the GOAT.
Shout out to the GOAT. Have you listened to his episode?
I haven't, but
You want to hear something off the rails in a fun way?
Yeah.
Go back and listen to that episode.
He's the man. Like, O'Malley was just the safety net, you know what I'm saying? And in more ways than one. He just was always there, always in your corner, regardless of how immature I was here, with my time here. But I had maybe like 3 or 4 classes left. I think they're just general eds. And I had emailed O'Malley, and I was like, Chef, I come to you with my tail in between my legs. I need a diploma. Can you help me out?
What do I do here?
Yeah. And so he's like, let me talk to some people. And he actually ended up, and I know this is terrible publicity for Metro, but he ended up getting me a diploma and signing off on like my last few classes. And, I ended up applying. I got my visa. Unfortunately, I was like, dang it, now I have to live
now
here.
I'm in it.
I wish somebody would tell me no.
Yeah. and at that point, it was nice because I had already been working as a cook there. And so it was just more of like, all right, now I have a tax ID and I can get my own apartment and get on my feet like a normal human. And this is all the stuff I didn't think I was going to be going through also at that age. I thought it's just going to be hop on a plane, go work, maybe, get some cash, drink some beers with, your European mates, and then back home. And then you get stuck like waiting in a tax line while your prep is stacking up, and you're like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And ended up getting the job, worked there. It was amazing. I'm so grateful for my time there. It was very intense, but it was one of those things I walked away and said, I can do it. I know I can do it. And just the connections that I made there were inevitable. I mean, the way they would influence my career years down the line, I had no idea, but it was just all the pieces were kind of falling in place.
How long were you there?
A year and a half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought I was going to stay a second year just because we were 27th in the world. Like, we were on the right. We were right there with the 3rd star, and I just wanted to be a part of that. And then you get hit with international taxes, and you're like, see, this is stuff I wasn't. I wasn't ready for this. I didn't want to do this. And so
the adult part of it.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I have some money saved up. I want to move back home. And I was homesick. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
That was my first time living away for that long. And mentally, I kept thinking, like, this isn't just a 2-hour flight. This is a whole day of travel to get back if, someone gets sick or, just playing like a lot of what ifs. And, I had traveled a lot at that point with, like, my weekends, they were short. You had Sunday, Monday off. Yeah. Usually Sundays, you woke up at 5 p.m. Yeah. you do your laundry, and then you're like, Chinese takeout, and then right back to bed. And then Monday you try to like
get
do
your life
something
together.
Yeah. And then usually it would go to the restaurant and try to get ahead for Tuesday.
Right.
But I had on my Sundays I would try to pick like a different country at least like twice a month to go visit and just go eat and travel. And just because, a $50 flight, you're not going to go to you're not going to go to London for $50 ever again.
No, God, you have to do it.
Traveling
in
Europe
have to do it.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, and it's so
like
accessible.
A quick train ride, and I'm in a different country. You're telling me? Okay.
I'm all about it. How many stamps can I get on my passport?
Yeah.
And but eventually I did come home, and I love Omaha, but I was like, I'm not ready to plant yet, and so there was a restaurant, Saison, in San Francisco that I was really gung-ho about and had my eye on for a while. And so I had applied there, and that one was a lot. Well, I had applied for that when I was in Norway still. Chef had asked, like, hey, where do you want to go work next? I'll put in a good word for you. And so told him Saison, went out there, and it was such a game changer for me because cooks, when you're a commis, you had to report at 6 a.m., which was, that's bright and early still, to be there. And it's not like you just hop in your car and drive to work and park in San Francisco. It's a 45-minute commute. And then you get there, and it was good. I remember I had food poisoning my first day.
Classic. Also classic.
But I was like, I'm not showing up late. I've wanted this. I'm not like, I'll show up. They'll send me home if I look that bad.
Yeah. Honestly, good for you. Because I feel like I would have been like, please just
just troop through it.
Take me now.
Yeah. And that's how I felt inside. And my first job, they said go clean the hood vents. And they gave me the most sulfuric, like,
Oh my God.
spray I've ever smelled. And I remember being in the dish pit, just humidity hitting me in the face
Oh my
and
God.
that sulfur. And I thought,
I feel like they saw you and they were like,
yeah, we got a job
Yeah.
for you, buddy.
Oh, he's sick. Oh,
yeah.
All right.
But I also knew, I was like, again, this is going back to bang. You're not breaking me. I'm tougher than this.
we won't name this teacher but what that teacher did to you, honestly, maybe was great.
I've never. Yeah, I should go to therapy for that too.
Yeah. We'll check in on them.
But it was one of those things. That's just a test. You can pass it, get through it, and then I got moved up to them plucking ducks, and then it kind of
The
just
old plucking ducks.
yeah, just all the like the bad jobs no one wanted.
Yeah.
Of course those are your first steps in, and then after like 2 weeks in, I hate prep. Like I love it, but like service is the fun part.
Yeah, that's the action.
That's the dance. That's the orchestra, and so I asked Chef. Hey, can I just stay after and work service with you guys? And his head was like, what? You want to stay longer and clock out and keep working? Like, whatever. And I would ask,
Sure, I guess.
I told him, I was like, can I do like Tuesday through Saturday? And he's like, no. He's like, you can do like 2 days a week, but like you need to leave. Just like it. And because at that point, Saison, I remember, so Johnny Ortiz was the chef de cuisine at the time, and he was 23. So
Whoa.
This was like, and he had just Saison got their 3rd star. And Josh Skeen's the executive chef, an amazing, talented chef, but like I didn't see him for the first 3 months of working there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Johnny was, in my opinion, the reason that place got a 3rd star. And I remember he got the Eater Young Guns Award, and I was like, man, this is who I want to be. And so I tried just kind of being right there and just constantly, hey, what can I do for you? What do you need? Or just wanted to get to know him as much as possible. And very talented cook, and that's why I wanted to spend my time there. And then after, I was the last commis to be brought on, and I think after like a month, the guy who I was living on his couch, Peter, Sweet Pete.
Shout out to Sweet Pete, wherever
Peter,
you are.
I think he's in London right now. Amazing gentleman. Like, I love Sweet Pete, but he was an older guy. Like, I think he was probably in his 40s at the time. And all of their ceramics were very, very precious. And if you dropped a plate or set it down too hard, I mean, people look at you. Like, never. And everything's very slow and, like, intentional. And Peter had dropped a plate one night.
Sweet Pete.
Not our Sweet Pete.
And Johnny said, go home. And, 23-year-old telling a 47-year-old, like, go home.
I'm devastated.
I am too.
Yeah, which is kind of like heartbreaking. And Peter, there's those high-pressure kitchens.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to make someone snap. And so
Yeah.
Peter was like, yo, I'm out. I come in the next day, and I had been begging, like, can I work the line? Can I work the line? And I was scratched off the commis list, and then on I had my own prep list.
Yeah.
And the sous chef came up to me, Scott, and he's like, that day came a lot sooner than you thought, huh? And I remember being like, oh, no, I didn't want it this soon. Like,
Yeah.
and because all of a
And
sudden...
not at the expense of Sweet
No,
Pea.
Yeah, well, and then like I have to go live on this guy's couch when I get home.
How did that
Like,
conversation
hey
go?
Peter, I took your job.
Yeah.
But it was actually great because I got home that day. I had told him about the news, and then it was nice. He's like, first, go grab this pot when you get in. Rachel, the pastry chef's gonna try to take it before
Oh my
you.
God.
But,
It
he was
is
kinda-
like Top Chef.
And it was, and so I got in there the next day. I had my like prep, like my equipment list already written out, and I went in there and grabbed everything. And then Rachel came down. I need that pan actually, and I was like, sorry. I got like Peter was like, you hold your ground. Do not let her take
do
that
not
pan.
give in to Rachel.
And
yeah,
and shout out Rachel. She was actually really sweet too. It's just. Look, those kitchens bring out the devil in everybody, and
Yeah.
it is a dog eat dog
Yeah.
kind of environment.
Yes.
Like, I'm just trying to stay alive. I don't want to get yelled at. I'm trying to make sure my stuff's done on time and perfect. You are too, but I'm more important than you are. This is me. You are you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
like I'm not help. And so. And it was actually funny because I guess the next night Johnny had broke a plate, and the GM went up to Johnny and said, "Where are you going to send yourself home?" And it was like this bit. I thought, oh, I'm staying out of it, but like he's not wrong. But it just Yeah, and anyway, so I ended up getting brought on as like the last one to get brought on, first one to move up, which then caused all this like animosity with the other
yeah.
homies.
I
That
can
like,
imagine.
why'd you get to go? And I was like, well, because you guys all went out for beers, and I'd be sitting here like, setting inlays and doing all this stuff for all the other cooks. And I had gone from like cold station to hot station to meat. Like I'd been all over. So at that point, you could put me into any station and it's like
You were ready.
There might have been a couple things I didn't know, but like I could pretty much jump in and move. And Saison was great. I had a good time. Johnny ended up leaving, and then new chef came in. Things just start changing, and you spend that much time anywhere, and you're just like, I'm ready for something new.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it. I've gotten how they do things, and so I ended up resigning. And I was really I don't know. San Francisco is like a cool city when I first moved there, and is so romantic and like beautiful. But then you start
cool.
living there, and you're like, man, I've spent $1,000 in parking tickets this week. My car's been broken into 3 times.
Oh, it's like the rose-colored lenses come off, and you're like,
just,
I think I'm good.
Yeah,
The big and the fog are no
expensive.
longer romantic.
Yeah.
It's like, I've seen enough.
But
I've paid enough money.
But I was also like too broke to get up and move anywhere. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And Johnny he broke off, started doing his own pop-up. And then I had asked him, I was like, where should I go? And he's like, Matthew Kirkley is going to be taking over Qua. I think that'd be a really cool move for you. And backtracking a few years, when I was trying to do all my aggressive staging, Matthew Kirkley was running L2O in Chicago, and I had done the same technique of like, twice a day.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They still would not like accept me. And then like fast forward to San Francisco, I get a mysterious call on the phone one day, and it's Matthew Kirkley saying, hey, Johnny Ortiz told me you were looking for a job. If you want to come and stage, we'd love to, see how you do with the team. And so I was like, hey, chef, I've tried working for you in the past, like pretty.
He's like, we blocked your email.
Yeah, I know.
He's like, oh, wait, that's you?
Click.
Click.
But he, I went out there and staged, and Kirkley at this point was, Espen was a kind of a celebrity chef at the time at Miami. Josh Skeens was, again, I didn't, and I love all these chefs. I don't mean to say this in like bad light, but I didn't see Skeens for like the first 3 months of working at Saison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then like Kirkley calls me, and I was kind of expecting the same, like, when you hear that door and you see him come in, it's like, everybody stands up a little straighter, everything gets a lot more tense. But Kirkley was hands down, like just down to earth. His chef coat was all not grimy, but you could tell like he's behind the stove.
Yeah.
And this was on the transition. Daniel Patterson was the original executive chef. Kirkley was kind of getting ready to take the reins, and so Kirkley was technically just a line cook at the time, and Daniel was still running the service. And I came in, and Kirkley like trained me on that station, which was awesome because, again, a chef I've looked up to for years, and now I'm getting like one-on-one training from this guy, and it was cool because I think he saw like the fire and the passion that I had, and knew I was really locked in. I really wanted that job, and I was absorbing everything I could like a sponge. I just wanted all the knowledge. I wanted all of it, and so it was really cool. I got to really work closely with him, and it felt really neat to have a chef of that caliber kind of be, I don't want to say a friend, but someone I could kind of turn to.
Yeah.
And then,
again, a mentor.
Yeah, a mentor. Like, it's such a weird thing in this industry of just someone that's nice to you. And I ended up working for him for about a year. But when Kirkley took over, what I didn't realize was Kirkley's food was so technical. Like the things were, I've never been anywhere where food was measured like that person, like to the millimeter, and we'd have to sit there and burn like he was very classic French. So I come from like these kind of more rustic, we forage, things are circle or natural shape versus you come to a Qua and everything is like so precise.
Tight.
And perfect. Everything is perfect. And I remember the prep, we'd have 5 or 6 cooks standing around a prep table brunoising vegetables for a sauce. And chef would go around and like measure one piece. If it was wrong, all of it gets done. Like any piece had to be like to a certain size. And it was really difficult to just kind of keep that. Because then I was like, man, it's wasteful.
I've
trimming a
bottom
carrot
line
down to that much. Like there's so much scrap. There's so much waste. But I was like, you should learn this level of precision. And his recipes were down to the gram, 0.05 of every, or, it's like they are so specific. And it was really neat, though. I mean, I've never worked in a kitchen where you could honestly almost go like the whole service without trying anything because like everything is so the same.
Exact.
And precise. And so I really thought that was a good way to, learn how to cook and whatnot. But eventually I just got to the point where, it was kind of that same, you're there at 7 a.m., you're getting off really late. But there was also this kind of hierarchy established that sous chefs could not go get beers with cooks after service,
Okay.
And I get it and I don't. I mean, the thing that I think keeps kitchen staffs together under these high pressure, high intense situations is camaraderie.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you down. I'm not letting you down.
Yeah, we've got each other.
Likewise, don't walk out on me.
Yeah.
Because if you walk out, well,
Then
you
we're
and
all
me,
in trouble.
So
Yes,
it's
very
kind of
real.
just like, hey, don't let go of my arm. I won't let go of yours. And so then when you're like, but then when you're told like you can't go get a beer with this guy after, I don't know, and I feel
After
like
we've
that
been in the
Did they
weeds for
watch
hours.
you
It's
leave?
like,
Yeah.
Also, did they watch you guys like walk down the street to make sure you like got in your car?
probably no one had cars. Everybody like
That's
public
true. In Chicago,
trans-
you don't need them.
Yeah,
They
and
made sure you got off on your L stops.
Yeah. And so eventually, and I remember one time Tommy, the sous chef, went out because I love Tommy and like we were friends.
Yeah,
Like, there's no
you're
doubt about
allowed
it.
to go get a beer
And
together.
so he's like, dude, don't tell chef. Like, because you could tell he's like, I need a beer and
You
I
do
just want to
too.
hang out. Like, let's just
We
be
want to
friends.
just
and-
yeah.
So
we want
he-
to decompress together.
Exactly. And
It's healthy.
yes and no. I mean, like, there's other ways to cope with stress like that I've
Yeah.
found now. But like at the time, a good beer, it's hard to beat. And
Sometimes you gotta.
Sometimes you gotta. If anything, just to talk it out with
Yeah.
each other. Like, hey man, that went really like.
yeah, don't ever talk to me like that again. And then the next day it happens
like, hey,
again.
I didn't love that. And then the next day it's like, what are we doing, chef?
Yeah. Like more yelling. But it in Kirkley at that point, I had, I had a girlfriend at the time, and you're working all this, and you're trying to balance everything. And then it just, also I was on the verge of burnt
out.
Like,
Very
and I'm
real.
like talking hardcore. Like, I don't know if I ever want to touch a pan again. Just because it's every day when you're under that amount of stress and like the cutthroat aspect of that, and there's no rules. I mean, if chef wants to like
Completely change things.
or make you feel like the smallest person in the world, they'll say whatever. Like there's. And look, I signed
There's
up
no
for it.
HR
I know,
here.
No, there's not. There's
really?
not.
There's
really
no
not.
HR.
The HR is like write it down, and then that paper shredder is where you
Yeah,
like
you can give it back to the chef and he'll
Yeah,
go
it-
tell you
Yeah.
to go take a hike.
It's like HR is actually whoever you live with and just telling them what happened that day. And they can't do anything to
HR
help you.
is the bartender.
Yeah,
you know,
that
and
probably.
it just. But I'm also not like I signed up for
Yeah.
what I knew what I was putting myself through, and at any time I could have walked out. I was stronger than that. I knew I was stronger than that, and like
that middle school music class.
no, that's the Midwest. That's the Midwest.
Oh,
That's
that
like
too.
I'm not, and that was the other thing.
Too nice to leave.
And shout out to Metro. Like I was the underdog. You're the community college kid. Where did you go to culinary school? No one actually even asked you that. No one cares. But like,
Yeah.
where'd you go to?
But if they do.
Yeah, or like your Comey buddy. Hey, where'd you go to culinary school? CIA. Where'd you go? Oh, Metro. Whatever. Like
Yeah,
they
they're like,
keep,
"Who's that?"
Yeah, and I'm not gonna waste my breath trying to explain
Yeah.
it to like I'm trying
You
to.
know
Really good school.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's good.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters.
Well, and
and
it's
if
like-
you're proving yourself,
Exactly. That was my thing. It's like you don't
like,
know where I'm
"Watch
from,
this."
but I'm gonna prove it to you. And
Yeah.
you go abroad, and they're like they ask you where you're from. You say Omaha, and
What's that?
Yeah, like what or like
it's
Nebraska.
in Nebraska. Where's
Yeah.
that?
I just told people Chicago because
Classic.
they're like,
They
so,
need a touchdown.
well, and
The
they're
same
like,
time zone.
They're
you
like,
know?
where's Nebraska? And you're like, I don't have time to like.
It's near Chicago.
Yeah,
They
and-
don't need to know.
Most people, when you ask them where they're from, they'll kind of pick the closest, biggest
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it was at that point, Kirkley had kind of burned me out a little bit. But one thing I will say is I remember one day during service, he got really pissed at me, and I knew I messed up. It was I wasn't trying to, but I was just upset at myself.
Yeah.
And but he could tell I was battling some like internal demons, not demons, but just I had some
feelings.
Yeah, I
Some
was
big
really
feelings.
trying to work through stuff, and I was 21, 22 at this point. Like I'm a kid.
In the scheme of things, still a child.
Yeah, and
it feels like.
I remember he pulled me in the private dining room one time. He's like, "What's going on?" And I remember I was just like, I started bawling because I was like, "Man, my life's falling apart. I don't know what I'm like. I don't know what I want to do. Like this is and it was funny because someone who was so meticulous and so precise was like, Kane, you're fine, man. Like you can do whatever you want. You want to leave, go for it. You want to go. Like I love surfing. I had a van that my cousin and I built out into like a surf camper van, and he's like, if you want to go run up and down the coast, for a year, go do it. And guess what? You'll land on your feet when you're like you're fine. And I remember he was trying to work with me to like get a different position in the kitchen. So I was just working so much. My list was like way overbearing, and he was trying to work with me, and then it was kind of more of like, here's a 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of job just to kind of give you like a little breather. And I was like, let me think about it. And I came back the next day and I was like, Chef, I really, because for him to even give me that option, I could tell he was like, brother, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to like really fight with you here, or like in a like fight for you. But I told him, I was like, Chef, we both know that if you're not 2 feet in on something like this, it's just it's not right for anybody here. And he's like, I agree. And you could tell like for both of us was kind of crushing, but
probably a little bittersweet. Like
it was the right move. Like
it's nice that he says it, and you like it's not like you have an out, but it's like you're like, oh, you know what? I have been wanting to say that actually.
And I realized at that point like it was okay. And we left. I just didn't want to leave on bad terms. And that was the most important thing to me is like, Chef, I don't care what you say about me behind my back. I just want to make sure that I respect the hell out of you. I'm not asking for all of your respect. I just hope that you don't think of me poorly, know. And he got. I mean, shit. We were watching cooks leave left and right, know. And it's like, but Chef, like, don't think about me like that when I leave.
I'm not them.
And it was all cordial. And I love Kirkley still to this day, but at that point I was like, finally I can breathe. And I actually went to go be a bar back.
Why not?
Love it.
I was just like, I need a different schedule. Like I need something that's not 7 to 1 a.m. anymore. And
fair.
Instead it was like 5 p.m. to 2 or 3 a.m. with bar backing. But I started making like, cooks don't make any money in those kitchens, and then you go to be a bar back, and it's like, wait,
and you get tips.
I know, and then I can like I'm squeezing limes, that's my prep list, and
You're
then
like,
it's
sounds
like
great.
wash dishes. I'm like,
wash glasses until the cows come home.
And nobody cares if this lime is a little bit bigger than the other lime.
Yeah, they actually probably want that.
It's rustic.
Rustic cuts.
And it was such a change, but quickly I was like, this is not
forever.
This is not me.
No.
This is not me.
This is a nice like mental break, but
And so so at this point I was single, I was a bar back, and I had my surf van.
Still in Chicago?
This is all in San Francisco. I actually never lived in Chicago. So this was yeah, but this was all in San Francisco still.
Okay, then I'm
I
need a map or like I need
I think I lost you with the L2O.
You did.
That's where sorry. But I was living actually out of my van. So after my girlfriend and I at the time split up, I was like, I'm not paying $2,000 anymore for rent. Like this is absurd. And I was like, I got this sweet van. And like, look, at 22, it's it's
you
cute.
can do that.
At 32, I'm not doing that.
No.
But it's creepy. But
honestly, your back probably wouldn't. Couldn't do that anymore.
I've got a sleep number
If
now.
it's
Right?
anything like mine.
But at that point, so I would. I'd work at a bar, you have a couple drinks before you go home, and then I remember sitting in my van.
Holden's van.
My 3 a.m. And I was like, what do I want? What do I want to do? And, Johnny had broke off from Saison and started his own pop-up, and I went and helped him a couple times. And I was like, man, that's kind of a good way to just, like, test run. I have notebooks, like, thick with ideas from all these places I've worked that I'm ready just to see, is this tangible? Is this going to work?
Yeah.
Can I run with this?
Is this as good as it sounds to me? Yeah.
And so I don't have the napkin anymore, but I was like, Kano, we're going to do this. Like, this is who we are. This is what it's going to be. And I started a Kickstarter, like a GoFundMe that night. And I was like, I need $8,000 and I can do this. And I woke up the next day and I was like, dang, I actually published that Kickstarter and like I shared it and I'm like, Kane, you gotta stop drinking, you know?
Yeah.
But it was funny because then like all of a sudden like people started donating and I actually ended up raising the money and I was able to buy like a ton of like kitchen equipment and all this. But then I was like, well, where am I gonna prep? You know, because I
In my van.
I know, like here's my butane
camper
burner.
stove.
Yeah. And
Real rustic.
Honestly, an amazing story if that's how this all came to
But
be.
I was also just like, you know what? I'm not letting something as small as a kitchen stop me from doing, you know, like, and I've always been, if I want it, I'm going to go get it. You know, if I have to email you twice a day for 2 months, I'll do it for a year. I don't care.
We've learned this.
You know,
Yes.
I'm going to get it. And so an old friend of mine who actually was the bartender at the Boiler Room many moons like before all this, he had moved out to San Francisco to start a coffee roastery called Front. And I had talked to him a little bit, and he's like, hey, just come meet us at the coffee roaster because we need a lunch chef for this co-op co-working space, very San Francisco.
Very San Francisco.
And so I walk in one day, and this place was like a utopia. I mean, it was like all this natural light, big exposed beams, old industrial warehouse in the Mission District. But like, there's all these tech companies, or, you know, these small startup tech companies. There's this like quaint little coffee shop in there. And then they had this kitchen that was very unorganized and chaotic, but I was like, I saw the bones. I was like, we got what
You're
it
like,
takes.
I'll be okay.
Yeah. Like I've done more with less. And so Randy, the owner, we talked to him and he was like, yeah, I need someone to run the lunch program. And I'm like, well, I need someone to do my pop-ups. And he's like, well, you give me a lunch program, you can do whatever the hell you want with the kitchen. Sold.
Yeah,
and,
you got it.
Yeah, and everybody always told me like, it was called Mod. That was the co-op co-working space, and everybody would always say, they always said, Mod is like a really great place to be. Just don't ever work there. And it's startup, you know, like 'cause everything's great one day and then everybody's gone the next day, and then it's just very, you know, everybody's on a 1099. No one's actually hired, but they ended up giving me like a very decent, you know, pay, you know, for like, I was like, whoa, you know, this is kind of like not what I'm used to. And they gave me like, here's a card, like a credit card if you need stuff like equipment or anything like that. And so I kind of just started putting this kitchen together. I had a bunch of my own equipment, and then I would do like their basic, you know, granola bowls and salads and stuff for lunch. And then at night I was like, this place, you know, the lighting was nice and dim. And then I could do these like intimate, you know, 10 to 15 person dinners. And it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun, but like quickly realized, oh my gosh, I'm not ready to do this at all. And one of my buddies from Miami in Oslo, he was originally from Tokyo, went back to Japan, and he said he was going to come out to San Francisco to stage at Saison, and he's like, do you want to maybe do a collaboration while I'm out there? And I was like, heck yeah, you know,
why not?
And Mitchie Hero was like we were station partners, and we had gone through the trenches, but he was like the most talented chef I've ever worked with. I learned so much, just how to organize yourself, work productively, and just I've never seen anybody work as efficient as him. And he came to do a dinner. It was like, it's weird. He's 2 Michelin Star now. And I'm like, yeah, we did a pop-up before you were ready. You know, like,
no biggie.
But it was so cool. And then he was like, hey, I'm opening my restaurant if you'd like to come help. And I was itching to get out of San Francisco at this point. It had been 3.5 years. And I'm like, I'm over it's a dirty city. The van life. And like, and so I ended up buying a one-way ticket to Tokyo and started living on Mitchie Hero's couch. And then,
every time I'm like, this is where he returns to Omaha.
Yeah.
No,
Not yet.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
And so I ended up, I lived there. The first 3 months it was just trying to get my visa. I was 23 or 24 at the time. They want a minimum of 10 years work experience. They're like professional. And I'm like, all right, well, we could lie and say like, I'll take Broncos off my resume if you'll put like,
never take Broncos off your
that's what they
resume.
wanted. And so
Those fries deserve a spot on the resume.
I got a mean smash burger and fries, but so essentially they said no like 7 different times, and Michihiro was like, hey, it's financially like they're a new restaurant. It's hard for them to apply that much. I was also, going bankrupt from, applying for my visa so much. And then he was like, hey, I'm going to send you to Nihon Ryori Ryugen, which is like a 3 Michelin Star ambassador for Japanese cuisine. Like the emperor goes and eats there. Like it's the like this place is insane. And they get me in. Michi somehow pulls this like string to get me in there. I walk in there, and the hostess, they don't hire foreigners. So a little white kid from Omaha, Nebraska is like the only outsider in this restaurant. And I remember the host, she was the only one.
As the emperor walks in.
Yeah. Like, hello. But the hostess sat me down for like the first day of like, here's your tour. And I had a short sleeve shirt on, and she goes like, you need to be clean shaven, and like you need to shave your arms and hands and like all this. And I was like, there's no way. Like what?
Oh my God.
And so the next day I come in and I'm prepping, and the sous chef, it was like standing there watching me, because they also told me I need to have a haircut and all this. I'm like, dude, I'm not even guaranteed a visa. Like I'm not changing. I'm not going through this appearance change. And
I'm dying at the shaved arms, really.
Oh, I was like,
you were like, that's where I draw the line.
like this could be a translation issue, but okay.
Like long,
Then
you want long sleeves. I
You look
assume.
over at everyone else's arms, and you're like, oh wait.
They had no arm hair. And then it was funny because I remember I was sitting there doing something the next day, and this chef is just standing there. I'm like, man, I'm doing something wrong. But like, he's going to wait till a sous chef sees it, and then the sous chef will get yelled at, and then I'll get pulled aside and then get yelled at. And then the sous chef comes over, taps him on the arm, like points, says something in Japanese, and then he's like, Kane-san. And he takes me to, so I had an apartment next to the restaurant. That was my accommodation. So no more couches at this point.
All right,
Good for you.
moved on up.
We had 2 bunk beds in the room, and then
Classic.
it was me and 3 other cooks that lived there.
Were you on a top or a bottom bunk?
I was a bottom bunk.
Classic.
I don't want to roll off the top. And,
I'm 24 now. I'm too old for the top bunk.
Can't be up
I'm
there.
established. And he takes me back to his apartment, gives me a razor, and tells me to shave my arms. And I was like, oh. And it was so awkward because, like, I mean, it was kind of like first time I ever had to shave my arms. And
But
then
also another man's watching you.
and I know, and it's like put the lotion on the skin, or like
my
it's
God.
just like I was like, I got it, you can go. And so I ended up shaving my arms. I go back, and
Hey,
then
good for you.
Yeah,
You
it
do
was it was a good time. And actually, hindsight looking back at it, Ryugen was one of the most special places I've ever been. Yamamoto-san, the head chef, was like a San Pellegrino top 5 best chefs in the world. I mean, he's had this 3 Michelin Star. He's on the every best list. Like he's checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
And it was really neat because, I was there at Ryugen for a few months during like my trying to get my visa passed. But chef like once a week would go to the host, and then the host would come to me and say, hey, chef, would like to take you out tonight. So just pick a place where you'd like to go eat. If you want ramen, or you pick, and then he'll set it all up. And it was so weird.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was weird because like the amount of loyalty that all these guys had for chef, and the respect. And I mean, I've never seen anything like this. And then chef wants to take me out. I'm like, what?
What did
This
I
is
do?
wild, you know? And I remember chef drank a lot. Like he would always have towards the end of the night, he would have the tall Sapporos, and like he would drink like a few of these. You quit counting sometimes. But you never see any change. And then I'm like, I'm gonna keep up with this guy one night.
my God.
And we go out, and this was like maybe the second or third time I had gone out with him, but it was really special because he would Kumi-san, his like host girlfriend, I'm not sure like what the relationship was there, but she was our translator, and she would say, chef says you can ask him anything, or like chef would like to ask like, who's your favorite chef, or where are you from, or like, and it was just really special. And like there were so many pinch me moments of like, all right, it's 3:30 in the morning, and like I'm drunk in Tokyo
With an
this,
amazing
like,
chef.
what-
Yeah.
What? Like, how is this even possible? And it was a fun, special time, and like it was really neat to just have those experiences. And that night I tried keeping up with him with the drinks. He said, Kane son, you can come in at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And
At this rate,
that was his way of being like, you're drunk.
Stop.
You need to go home.
Please stop.
And but I was really grateful for those times. And my visa never actually ended up passing. And I think I was okay with that because Japan was like 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. 6 days a week, you know, and the seventh day is usually like a clean day for a half day, you know. So I was like, man, I'm kind of over this whole Michelin timeline of like I just slowing down a little bit. And so I ended up after like the seventh time of my visa being denied, I was like, I'm going to go home. I started applying for my Australian visa.
Why not?
And, I mean, it was like, where can I go next? And then I came home, and then I was cooking with my brothers. And I was like,
here. We're finally here.
Yeah, we're back in Omaha. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is fun. And, you know, having in-unit laundry, like Japan, I had a washer, but I would have to put all my clothes on a radiator at night to dry.
Yeah.
And then, like, it was always like kind of I'll do it because I have to, but like
I can't do this forever.
It's just like and like I really miss cheeseburgers and like just you know like
Broncos.
Yeah, I do. I'm a fat kid at heart, and so I was here. I actually got my Australian visa, and then it was funny. It was so opposite than Japan. It was like I applied, and then the next day it was like, congrats.
They were like, come on,
they're like, come on in.
We'll take you.
But I was like, you know, I've been running around for like, it was quite a few years at this point.
Yeah.
Probably 6 or 7 years. And I was like, I just need to go home, kind of like hang out. And cooking with my brothers was a lot of fun. And
Are they chefs as well? Or just for funsies?
They're not anymore. Like, I think the industry is a lot of fun when you're young, but like it's a hard life to live.
Forever. Yeah.
And, but I was like, yeah, this is great. And I had met up with Dave actually in Japan from Yoshitomo.
Shout out.
So, shout out Dave, an amazing guy. And so I was like, he's like, what's your plan? I'm like, well, Crony, Michihiro's restaurant, like we got our 1 star, but now I'm at Ryugen trying to get my visa. And now I'm like, I think I'm kind of like, what's next?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm opening a restaurant. Like, it'd be sick to have you a part of it. And it actually, like, timeline-wise, it was perfect. Like, all right, actually, this is a great transition. So I helped Dave open Yoshitomo, and he was like, hey, we've got, you know, a couple days, that were closed. You should try doing your Kano
Bring it
dinners.
back.
Yeah, run it back. And I was like, no, man, like, that is such a rabbit hole. Once you start going down it, it's just keep digging, and then you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
why am I doing
what am I
this?
digging
Like,
for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What is this all for? But he's like, you can use the space for free. And I was like,
Okay.
and I was like, but
Actually, it sounded pretty good.
it's like,
I guess when you put it that way.
yeah. And so I started like running, and he was like, but look, if you start one, you're going to have to do like a couple because you can't just get traction with one dinner. Like,
right.
It's consistency. And so I was like, well, let me do one once a month then, just to kind of slowly get it going. And then it started turning like twice a month. And then he's like, all right, no, because now you're running a business out of my business.
We can't keep doing this.
A little conflict of interest there.
Yeah.
And Grant, like, Dave was more than accommodating. I mean, it was like anything you need, and like I'm using his salt and I'm using his oil and like gloves and plastic. Like he's pretty much like whatever, just like do your thing, and was very supportive.
Keep it clean.
Yeah, keep it clean.
Clean it up.
Don't break anything,
Yeah.
and then like lock the door when you're done. Turn the lights off, which is amazing. Like you don't get that in any other city. Like no
That
other.
is Omaha.
Yeah, that's like
here's
here's a handshake. Don't screw me over. I won't screw you over.
Yeah.
And he, we did that for about a year, and then this was kind of getting closer to COVID. Like it was probably 2018, I think, and then 2019, I officially was like, Dave, I love you. I'm gonna break off and start doing these full time. And so we started doing public dinners around town, like at Archetype or Block 16 and Freedom 4 at the time when they were open, and it was cool because like we started getting this traction, and I had goals of opening a restaurant, so I was like, all right, we're building clientele. It's all falling into place. And then the pandemic happened. And like at this point, we had our brick and mortar picked out. We had the lease done. We had financing ready. We had designers and all these lawyer fees and all these meetings. And then the big bad
womp,
COVID.
Womp. Yeah.
But honestly, hindsight, like it might have been the most special thing that's ever happened to me. I mean, it sucked in the
Yeah.
moment.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like I don't think
Yeah.
anybody was like, "Oh, I love not."
What a blessing.
Yeah. But
You might have thought that for like a week, and then you're
yeah.
like, oh no.
Yeah. Now I'm bored and I'm broken. I need to like do something.
Yeah.
And so COVID happened, the shutdown happened, and we just told the landlords that like, hey, we're gonna wait because we don't know what's happening with the shutdown, and like no one knew it was gonna go as long as it did, and so we essentially just kind of scrapped the whole brick and mortar idea. But a good friend of mine was like, hey, he used to help do wine pairings for the dinners, and he said, hey, I want to propose to his now wife. Would you do like a little in-home dinner for us? And I was like,
We love romance on this podcast.
I was like, let's do it. And so I did a dinner for him in their backyard. His friend took photos, and then she published them. And then, oh my gosh, it just like, can we do a dinner? Can we do a dinner?
I have
Can we do
that?
a dinner?
Oh my God.
And prior to that, like we were doing pizza out of my garage. We had 2 little rock box ovens and doing pizza delivery because we just needed something to like pay bills and stay afloat. And, pizza. And I was doing like pasta meal kits and stuff on the side too. But it was kind of just getting scrappy. And then people started saying like, hey, you can't go to restaurants. Can you come to our house and do a dinner for us? And I was like, yeah, I've got all the plates. I've got all the glassware. Like I have everything from the pop-ups. I can just bring it to your house.
So you basically like fell into like fell into just being like a private
disclosure,
dining like pop-up.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I hated private dining. Like I did not want to go to people's houses and cook for 6 people. I wanted a bumping restaurant with 1,000 people in it, like just having a blast, music's loud, food's great, service is going, like that's what I was addicted to.
Yeah.
And then, this pandemic just made you like stop and
Truly
slow
made you
down.
slow down. Yeah.
So we started doing these dinners, and then I realized like there's a market for this, and like no one can physically go out to eat right now.
But
so
they're dying for like
an
a
experience.
restaurant experience.
Yeah.
They're dying for fine dining.
The connection of being around friends and like, I mean, a lot of like basic human qualities of life were kind of stripped away during that time, I feel like. So it was neat to, it started kind of coming back together. And then, but at this point I was like getting restless because I was like, man, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like all those Michelin Star restaurants, like I wanted the accolades. No one starts a business to like not get recognized. You want the Michelin, you want the James Beard, you want all these like
you want people to just like your food.
You want to be on these lists. And if you didn't, then you probably would not have spent that much time out of your life hustling to figure out what the game is or how to play it. And a few years ago, James Beard semifinalist list comes out, and then I was actually at the gym, and Tim Nicholson texts me, "Congratulations," and I was like, "I'm not engaged yet." Like, I'm not like. What,
I mean, this rep was really good, but how did you know?
I know. I was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like. I haven't done and then he sent me the James Beard link, and I really could not believe it. And I called.
I'm picturing like a movie where you just stop walking on a treadmill.
I just like.
Okay, before walk through how that process is to even get like a James Beard nomination, because
is it easier to describe how you got nominated?
I don't. That's the thing is like when we got nominated. I don't know, and that's
we
kind
still don't know to this day. That's crazy.
It's a mystery.
But I
if
also
you nominated Kane for a James Beard Award, please please reach out.
You're clearly out there.
Well, and there's like some big food blogger friends that I have that I texted them and I was like, "Yo, did you help this?" And like, if you did, thank you. And they're like, "No, I mean."
I would, but
they're always like, well,
I should have actually.
They're like, we'll preach light about you, but no, I'm not like setting anything up for you. And then it was just such a like whoa moment because again, I at that point I had kind of already accepted defeat that we're not going to get James Beard or we're not going to get this recognition.
That's just not my path.
Well, it's like I'm in someone's home. Like this is just totally different. And then, but I think to your point, like how do you get it? I don't know. And I think that's kind of a testimony to like what we do is. It doesn't matter who you are. We want to provide a certain level of experience and like a certain quality. And it doesn't matter if it's in your home or in a 3 Michelin star restaurant or or like if you book this dinner, if you want this experience, like we're going to do our best to provide a quality experience for you and your guest. And
I love that.
I thought it was really unique, but that year when they restructured is when they started making it so judges have to try your food.
Gotcha.
Which in a private dining setting is kind of weird because like how do you
now who's that person?
organize all these judges? And it was actually very interesting. I won't say any names of the judges just in case they still are, but someone in Omaha who was a pretty profound food writer had been to had been to one of our dinners, and it was a collaboration with Dave. So she had never actually been to a Kano dinner, and she had reached out to do a private in-home dinner. And I thought, like, interesting, because you've never like written about me solely, or like, I just, sure, we'll do a dinner for you. And then like right before the dinner, there was like a few follows on our social media that
seems suspicious that close together.
Look, my wife loves the like, I'm gonna figure out who these people are. Like
we are the same.
Yeah. So she went on, and like they're all food writers, bloggers, and they're all from out of town. And so it was like, well, I think I know where this dinner's going. And so we got there.
No pressure.
But like you look at their profiles, and then it was like, oh, you were just at Yoshi, and then oh, you were just at Block 16. Okay, and now you're doing a Kano dinner tonight.
Like, and checking it off the list.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I know who everybody is now. And then, so we did the dinner, and it was a great time. She had wrote about both Block 16 and Yoshi, but there was no Kano write-up. So I was
not that we noticed, but
no, there wasn't. And I, to this day, I was like, did I do something? Like, was there a part of the experience you didn't like? But that's also part of the secrecy of this, is like I didn't know how I got it, and like I don't know. I also don't. I had a talk with Isaiah from Archetype the other day about the struggle of like, do you do it for you or do you do it for like your clients? And I sit down and do coffee tastings with him, and I know a lot about coffee, but he still educates me and schools me every time. On the process, or like flavor profiles, things like that, roasting techniques, all that. And he does it because that's what he likes, and that's what, like, we're doing it to impress ourselves. So like, at the end of the day, I can do a dinner and, people might love it. I might not have been stoked about a couple things, or like they needed a little further tweaking. But you're like, okay, they loved it. They're stoked. They're cloud 9, and that's awesome. But like, man, I just feel like I could have maybe done a little bit more refined in this area. And like, to me, that dinner, I wouldn't say it'd be a failure, but it's like, I wouldn't look at that as my best.
Right.
But I can also go to a dinner and have, 5 plates come back full. But it's like, I know I like that dish. I know I thought that was amazing. And so I'm okay with like, you don't have to like everything. I mean, there's plenty of times I'll go to restaurants and, man, I'll have 10 dynamite dishes and one that's not my favorite, and that's okay. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with not liking anything. So I think with, the James Beard, it's more of like, it was a cool testimony of like, this is the experience I want to provide, and this is the standard I want to hold myself to, and the quality that I want to shoot for. And if it gets recognized, awesome. That's great. Business is great. If it doesn't, it hurts, obviously, like when lists come out and you're not a part of those things. But you're also like, but I know deep down, like I'm fulfilled, or I'm happy with the quality that I'm putting out. And I think if you're not happy, then like,
it comes across.
Yeah, it does. It does. If you're not passionate about it. So to answer your question, I don't know how we got nominated. I've learned a lot about the game since it coming out. But like then the following year, we got asked to be a featured chef at the awards ceremony in Chicago. So it's like, okay, but how did I do this twice now? Or like, what's
who is it?
Yeah, and then it's also like, surprise, I'm still cooking in people's homes. Like, I don't even have a brick and mortar, and like, you go through the history. I mean, they're like, you can get James Beard for writing books or social media or for media and stuff, but like most restaurants who are in those categories have 100% of them have restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know of any pop-ups that are getting...
I was about to say, you've got to be a very small number that doesn't have a physical home-based location.
So it's a weird, weird game. And I think that's how I always kind of look at it is, and I've really like, I've lost a lot of the appeal for accolades over the years. And after I've seen you're at those 3 Michelin star restaurants. There's a wine and dine. Like there,
Yeah.
I mean, those, when judges are coming in, you'll see chef there all of a sudden.
Yeah,
and
wow, yeah.
and chefs, like there's a whole
Yeah.
persona facade that is very appealing to those judges. And I remember at Miami, Michihiro and I were working the station, and we had some guests in the test kitchen, and or like some judges, and man, lobster was coming out, caviar was coming out, like, and
The finer things.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Michihiro was like, Kane, shit, like every other night, no caviar, no lobster, judges, caviar, lobster, chestnut cream, and
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, and I get both sides. I think there's a game, and like you're not wrong for playing it. I think now I don't know. I don't really put so much emphasis on it anymore because, again, I want to be fulfilled with my own work. I don't, and I'm not like, don't get me wrong. When James Beard comes out, you're on that list. It is it is a really cool feeling, and it's such
I'll never know, but I believe you.
But it's like, it's such a pat on the back, and then
Yeah.
you just are like so thankful for everybody that's helped get you there. But it's also on the flip side, when you're not on it, like it's
like-
not the end of the world, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know what, cool. I don't have to go to Chicago then this year, or like I don't have to like
Pressure's off.
Yeah, pressure's
I can
off.
have fun.
And when I was a featured chef at the awards ceremony, Tim Nicholson was a finalist, and that was actually kind of like the coolest moment because I'm like, you're my mentor, and I respect Tim. Like, Tim is the best chef I've ever worked for to this day. I've never met anybody who will rule people with respect the way he does, and no one fears Tim, but everybody fears disappointing Tim.
And you know what? That is
It's-
more impressive.
Yes, and
It's like your parents.
right.
You're like, I'm not
It's
afraid of them
worse.
being
It's
mad.
worse.
I'm afraid of them being disappointed.
when my mom yells at me and says whatever she wants, it's like, okay, yeah, it's coming from mom. When Tim's like, Kane, I'm disappointed.
You're like-
You're like, oh, like,
Re-examine my whole
yeah,
life.
like here's my coat, here's my apron. I'm
Yeah.
out. But like when I got to go to Chicago with him, it was such a cool experience because I got to see what it was like to be a finalist through
Yeah.
his eyes. But I was just like a featured chef. Like I was there for
Yeah.
the parties, and
Yeah.
you get all the red carpet experience without the pressure of
la.
like,
Yeah.
am I gonna win or not? And but it was really neat to kind of see, and he played it so cool. Like I know he was sweating bullets deep down, but
Yeah.
he just, it's Tim. He stays smooth. He's cool, calm, collective, and that was really special. And I think it was neat to have that experience with Tim, someone who I love as much as I do, and it was really cool and such a special moment.
I love that. Now, okay, we've talked about Kano. We have not talked about really like what is your like if somebody asked you what is Kano's cuisine, what do you say? Or like how do you plan a menu? I guess like what do you like to focus on?
Yeah, Kano's evolved so much over the years, and it is kind of like when I started Kano, and I guess I kind of skipped over it a little bit, but when I started Kano in San Francisco in 2016 as a way to showcase Nebraska tradition and cuisine. That was like my gun ho, and it really came from when I wanted to start the pop-up, I needed some prep space. I asked one of the chefs that I had worked for at the time, hey, can I borrow your kitchen? And he's like, but what's your concept? And I was like, oh, it's going to be like French technique with Japanese ingredients. And he's like, so every other restaurant that's in town right now? And I
Okay,
was
cool.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's like,
Never heard of it.
do something that's different, or come up with a concept that's different, that's still you, and then let me know and we'll talk.
And then we'll
I thought
talk, yeah.
like, and that was from Ryan Polnow in San Francisco. He's the head chef at Flour and Water now, and honestly, I haven't talked to the guy in years, but like it was one of the most influential pieces of advice that I've ever received in my career, because he was pretty much saying like, no, be you.
Yeah, like that's
who are
not you.
Yeah,
That's what
who
you
are
do now, but that's not what kind of chef you probably are.
Right. And
forever.
it was actually really special because then I was like, well, who am I? And I'd play that game a lot. Like, I'd be on the train going to work and you're tired. And then sometimes you just have to kind of come back to yourself. Like, who am I? Like, I'm Kane Adkisson. I'm from Omaha. Like, I have a great family. I have a great, like, you have to kind of remember, like, where you're from.
Center yourself.
And I think in these big cities, people will always, you'll find that the most insecure people are the ones who are they're trying to hide who they actually are. And it comes out like it's so obvious of like, oh, you're just like, where are you from? Oh, you're from Kansas. Like, why don't you embrace that? Like, why are you trying to act like a local when you're not? And so Kano in 2016 was like, I'm going to change the way people think of Nebraska. Because also people think of Nebraska as like cows and corn. That's what they think of. And
they're not totally wrong.
Like,
no, they're
got a point.
100%, they're 100% right. And
unfortunately, they're right.
We do both really, really well.
Also, beef and corn is good.
Turns out, I know. Like, who would have thought? But it also like there were some really great farmers, and there still are. But at the time, like I think Omaha's farmers and purveyors and producers was just like, I mean, this is pre-COVID. This is like we're in the land of milk and honey at the time. And then, so I would have like Morgan Ranch, Dan Morgan's on like 3-star restaurants in Germany. He's a cattle rancher out in Burwell. So he like shipped me out one of his private reserve ribeyes, and we had, I don't know, there's like a creamery that sent us out some cheese. You know, there's like all these purveyors just kind of like sending us stuff that's from Nebraska that I was highlighting on the menu. And then once I left San Francisco and then traveled and then came back home, it kind of felt redundant to do Nebraska food in Nebraska. But I was I think now I can take all these techniques from Japan or California or France or London, like all these places I've staged. I can bring them and use Nebraska ingredients. And for me, I love being outside. Like it's weird that I picked a job that I'm surrounded by stainless steel walls all day, but like I love riding my dirt bike. I love fishing. I love hunting, and I love all aspects of hunting and fishing. I love ice fishing. I love like fishing in the summer. I love being outside whenever I can, and I love the connection of like harvesting something and then eating or like preparing it, and like people kind of forget animals have heads and intestines and feet and
I try to.
Right, but like
you're right. I do forget that.
And it is sometimes it makes things hard of like, oh yeah, I saw that like all bloody and gross, but I think it brings a respect. I think at the end of the day, I get it. I 100% get it. Like it's
just don't tell me. I'm fine.
My mother-in-law. We have to play like hey, what do you think about this? And she'll eat it, but like if she knows about it prior, she's not going to eat it, and usually don't tell her afterwards, because. But I just love that connection. I love just how like raw it becomes, and I think it makes you really adapt to things or kind of visualize things and focus on things like to a hyper extent. And that's one thing I learned in Japan was. Some things on the menu would be on for like 2 days and then
gone.
Yeah, gone. Yeah. And
you missed it. Sorry.
It's like such a micro season that, and then you come home and you're like, well, there's micro seasons here too. There's things that when they're budding and then flowering and then seeding, and some things are definitely more palatable in certain stages than other stages. But it really made me like, I thought I loved being outside, and then I came back and I was like, oh my gosh, this place is magical. I forgot how much is actually in Omaha or Nebraska in general. And so there was, I think I kind of, to answer your question, I'm sorry, that was like the most roundabout answer.
You're good. All right.
Yeah.
Kano started as Nebraska tradition and cuisine, and I think now it's still highlighting some traditions and things that I grew up doing or there's new ingredients that I discover every year, I feel like, or try out different birds or different cooking techniques. But it's really just an accumulation of techniques that I've learned from over the years. And then just how do I like bring it all together with local ingredients, or seasonal ingredients. Yeah. So there is no right or wrong. I mean, I'll put tuna in a pasta course and like steak.
You wild
man. And I mean honestly,
no, that is wild.
Yeah. You'll look at the menu sometimes and you're like, if I went to like a normal restaurant and I sat down, I'd be like, what the hell is going on?
What am I about to eat?
And like I don't know if I trust this place in Nebraska with fish and this all on the same menu.
That is real. Yeah.
But at the same time it's like, let me try to earn your trust and then
Yeah.
you'll see that like it sounds messy on paper, but like it's all cohesive, and I think there's a common thread through it all, and that's Nebraska and I guess my kind of outlook on it. But yeah, it gets influenced daily by different things. I mean, sometimes I want to go and play French cuisine for a menu, or like maybe I want to do a Spanish menu. It just it changes, and I think that's the beauty of this industry. It's like it's a creative. You don't want to put yourself in a box, you know. Like what's fun about that? Obviously, sometimes you need restrictions to keep you focused, but I don't know. Like Grant Atkins says, like there's no rules. Like have fun, you know, and make it good. You know, I think that's like.
That is the one
moral.
rule,
Like,
baby.
make it tasty, make it scrumptious, and yeah.
So we've talked for an hour and a half.
Yeah, sorry.
No, which is fantastic.
We
talked
love
for an
it.
hour and
No,
a
we
half.
love it.
I get my one last question
Yeah.
for you is, what is your favorite place to go to in Omaha? Whether like fancy, not fancy. I do not. It does. Like,
I was going to ask something very similar.
Okay.
Like if you were like. If you've had a long day and you're just like
your guilty pleasure
you're just like,
is
this
one
is
of
like
them.
this is like where this is what I want to go.
I
This is
like
what
to know what
yeah.
chefs like to
This
eat
is like where I want to
personally.
eat. It could be Broncos. I would not judge.
Yeah,
I would
see,
I would understand.
it's up there, but like
Reasonable.
I don't know if I'd say like I'm a sucker for a cheeseburger and fries from them still.
Who isn't?
Honestly, for a while there, and we used to live in Exarban, my wife and I, so Trax was kind of like our go-to. And I don't care if we get heat, you know, if you're listening, like if you're hating on it, go try it again.
No, their wings are so good.
It's bomb. And you know, as fancy and as bougie as what Kano is and what we do, like, truthfully, the best meals I've ever had in my life, or the most memorable, have come off a tailgate or out of a duck blind. You know, I mean, it's really like those are where, because you're around the people, and to me, the best food is who you're with. It's not really what you're eating; it's just like time and place. And you know, that to me, if like I know that's probably not the right answer,
No,
but
it's the
like
perfect answer.
a tailgate lunch of like. You know, ours is banh mi's. That's kind of like our go-to, and we barbecue like
Much fancier than the tailgates I'm at.
but that's also part of our like Jake, you know Jake, him and I. That's
Shout
kind
out
of,
to Jake if you're watching this.
We love
I'm going to
you,
make
Jake.
sure my husband shows you this.
And you know, those are my favorite memories. Though, is you know, we go on these trips and. It's not even like where are we staying or what are we hunting or what's the goal of this trip. It's like what are we eating? You know,
That's how I travel also.
Yeah. And I love that. It's like, all right, I'll bring. And our wives always get upset because they're like, "You guys are having steak 3 nights in a row," and it's like, "Yep."
Yeah.
Or like,
Mind your
you know,
business.
lunch. It's our banh mi. That's my favorite. We have it on the boat in the summertime when we're fishing, and we'll slice the pork, marinate it, and then we'll bring out the buns, and then we'll have the pickles already made, and then like our aioli. And we have like this
Listen,
little.
if there's room on the boat,
Yeah.
yeah.
I won't be doing anything but eating the banh mi, but I'll be there.
Well, and it's cool because like there's like this rinky-dink grill that his dad. Back in the day when you could buy Marlboro cigarettes and you get points, and then you can like you can redeem your points and get like a little grill.
Oh my
you know?
God, I'm dying.
And so I don't know
And
if
it
you can
still
say that on the
works.
podcast,
That's
but
fine.
like don't smoke is the moral of that.
Yeah,
but
we are a smoke and tobacco free
Yeah.
campus.
Mostly because they don't do those. You can't give stuff
I
like
know
that
you
anymore.
can't get a grill for having a bad habit anymore. But we take that grill and like. Those are the best meals that have come off that little grill. And then you're sitting there and like you got your poles out, cold beer, and you're sitting there eating an amazing banh mi. And it's just like so refreshing and fulfilling. And so if I could be truthful, that is where I would, you know, that would be my go-to spot. But, you know, obviously like if for
that.
brick and mortar, I'd say Trax is like a good cutback, throw $20 on a number on Kano. And, you know, like just have fun, you know, and go hide in a corner somewhere.
I'm with you. Okay, I have a couple quick questions.
Yeah.
As a chef, do you watch cooking shows?
Not The Bear.
Oh my God. Okay,
not The
here's the
Bear.
thing. everything you have described is so in line with the bear, down to going to Oslo, that it is freaking me out.
Yes.
So it's crazy you don't watch it.
Chris Storer, the producer of The Bear, actually was a photographer for us at Qua. So it's actually really funny to see how he... and I was actually like stoked because I remember he'd always have this stupid little camera and he'd always be in everybody's face. But then when you watch The Bear, you can tell, and I've seen episodes. It's usually when it gets to the screaming matches is where I'm like, okay, overstimulated. I'm over.
You're like, I've lived this. I don't need to watch it. You know, my husband who has worked in kitchens he
gets it.
Yeah.
And I think
he's like, this is stressful.
If you've worked in the industry, you're kind of like, okay, I'm over it. It's a little Hollywoodized, but it's people like that. That makes good TV.
Well, he does appreciate that they do drink out of
delis. Yeah. And
he's like, that's real. He's like, that and going to cry in the walk-in are very real.
And then just having freak out moments all the time. And so and you can tell, like Chris Storer did his homework. He understands the brigade and like how it flows. Do I watch cooking shows?
Do you watch Top Chef?
Not really. I got asked to audition, and then when they didn't take me, I was kind of like, you know what? Whatever. I don't want to watch your show anymore.
No, please go on Top Chef. I love Top Chef.
But Padma's gone, so like
I know, but now it's Kristen Kish, who's amazing. Yes. She was on Traitors.
Yes. Well, and she's a Top Chef alumni too.
Yeah.
I know.
Honestly, I mean, Omaha is such an interesting food scene. I'm like waiting for them to they should do one here.
Yes.
We have a restaurant depot now. They can do it.
Right. They don't even need that. I mean, like, it's, I guess with cooking, it was, and I don't know if, like, some people feel this way as well. It was my whole life I've been in the industry for over 17 years now, and it's like, for a good 12 of that, it is all I did, thought, eat, breathe, sleep, cooking, stainless steel kitchen. I mean, like, it was just nonstop. And I think COVID really made me realize how much more to life there is than just working. And I think it's very satisfying. I get a lot of gratitude and like self-worth out of like a good, hard-earned day of work, like in the kitchen and pushing yourself. But I've realized that I love hanging out with my wife. I realized I love
shout out to your wife.
Yeah, shout out
to
Meg.
her.
I wouldn't be here without her as well. Like, she's like, you're missing a key point in that whole podcast.
Yeah,
But,
she's gonna be watching this like.
And then boom.
She's like, I had to wait an hour and a half for you to mention my name.
And I found a lot of other, like, I found a balance to life that, I don't know. So I guess watching the shows and kind of getting so immersive, I guess I'm very cautious of like how much I give of myself to the industry anymore, or like how much time and like energy, because it'll absorb all of you. And I think that's one thing that anything that you're like, I'm not a guy that kind of like, I kind of dabble in that. Like, it's either I'm all
You're
in
all
or I'm
in,
not.
yeah.
And so
I'm either emailing you twice a day or not at all.
Yeah, or you're never hearing from me.
And so I'm very careful now with how much I extend myself and apply myself to stuff. And I think it's been nice because I've found enjoyment in cooking again. You know, I kind of hated it for a while because it was like, I have so much trauma wrapped up in just the abuse from kitchen. And again, I'm not blaming any chefs. I'm not trying to cancel anybody. I'm just like, I get hard days and under pressure and under you lose a Michelin star, your life's over. So like, don't lose the star. And so you have that pressure and that expectations for so long that, you know, when you try to like remove yourself from it and then like, can I have fun with this still? It's like you ask a pro hockey player after they're out of the league, do you still like hockey? And it's like, you know, a lot of them don't even skate anymore because it's like so much of your life was consumed by it.
Yeah, you're like, it was work. Yeah.
You kind of, I mean, COVID was kind of like a wake up and then like, damn, was I in a cult? Like,
I had blinders on.
Like I was like, so.
You were working, but maybe not like cooking in like a creative way that brought fulfillment.
It's not romanticized as everybody makes it. You know, cooking with your grandma and your mom is like, honestly, it's more stressful than cooking in most kitchens anymore. But
I was about to say, hop in with my mom and she's over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's just.
Those aren't the right size. Can you redo it? Scrap it. We gotta redo those.
It's a recipe I've made many times. She's never made, and she's still over my shoulder like, Now is that right?
Right. Like,
No,
don't
no,
second
wait.
guess me.
Now hold on. Do you always? You do
Oh,
that
you
one?
put that in there?
Yeah.
Oh, hon, I don't know about
That's
that.
not on
Oh,
the
I don't know.
recipe.
And then she said, "No, I trust you."
Yeah, I guess I don't need to be here. And then it's like a fight, and then it's all right, whatever. And yeah, I think the best thing that's ever come out of COVID was just realizing you can have a work-life balance in this, but you just have to know your priorities and yeah. So I do watch shows. I think Chopped or like the.
A quick 1 hour.
Top Chef is,
Yeah.
I take that back. We do watch, we will watch episodes. I like watching like Gordon Ramsay a lot. Or
Oh my
like,
God, I do love
he's
him.
just funny. And Gordon's also like a real badass. Like he grew up in some insane, amazing kitchen. So he's one of those like celebrity chefs where I probably wouldn't want to cook against him.
No.
Like, he's still, other than getting yelled at and cursed at, it's like
Yeah.
he is a very talented chef. So
Yeah.
we watch that, but I don't. Honestly, anymore, I'm like on the couch watching Gossip Girl because that's what my wife wants to watch. I mean, it's like
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll
Love
take
is
this
Blind
off.
or like,
Yeah,
whatever, like,
thank you. Okay, thank you.
So yeah,
we'll
I'm a
take
normal,
this offline, but
normal
yes.
husband in that aspect too.
All right, what does the future hold?
Oh man, I don't know. My wife and I were just talking about this the other day. She's like,
What's next?
She's like, "What's your 10-year plan?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
I like how she asked you that after you got married, though.
Right. Well, we've talked about it a lot, but she was, I think, more specifically asking about work and because like Kano is 10 years this year, and
Crazy.
it's wild to think about because I'm still the same size. Like it's me and my wife now. Like that's my additional employee, and like it's so weird.
You're also his partner.
Yeah. Like
Who he loves very much.
Who he watches Gossip Girl with.
Yeah, like first and foremost. But it's such a, it's hard because I never thought I'd even make it this far. And then I also thought I'd have a restaurant closed by now. I thought I'd have opened and closed one by now.
Come and gone.
But she asked me, and it kind of, it like rubbed me the wrong way because for so long, I always had everything planned out. Like since I was starting in kitchens, I was like, I'm going to work here a year, then I'm going to go work here a year, and then when I'm done, I'm going to go work here a year. Like I had it all planned out, and then when I hit 25, that was kind of like the end of my I thought I had a restaurant by now, and then 7 years later, here I am, like no restaurant still, but I'm also like finally content with where I'm at in life, and I think that's one of the hardest things to accept as a chef who's always constantly like, what's new, what's next, what's the next hot trend? And I think, chasing trends like that or chasing like the next cool thing in the food industry just gets so tiring. And then, I don't know, life's good. And I think chefs are the best at sabotaging something good. Like, oh, you've got a good staff, you got this, you've got everything in place. Let's stand up in the canoe and ruin it all. Like let's like, oh, there's no wakes. Like, well, here, let me stand up and start making
rock
everything
the boat.
and rock the boat. So, obviously, I think my 10-year plans now is like I want to have a family. I want to be a dad. I want to have, I want to like go to my kids' plays and stuff, things that most chefs can't have.
Maybe they'll be in band.
Yeah.
And then when they really need you to be like, sorry, Donna.
I think I will. I will definitely take that play out of my mom's book. But yeah, in terms of what I want, like career-wise, I mean, I'm a hard worker, and the one thing I've learned with this industry is you can have a plan, and then you get punched in the face, and it all changes. You know, like you can have a plan, and then like someone comes along and is like, "Hey, I want you to help me run this spot," and you're like, "You know what? Cool,
Sure.
Yeah, why not?" Like,
Sounds good.
I think a restaurant is still not out of the question for me. I think I'm just a lot more cautious of like approaching it, but I also know what I want out of a restaurant. And I think that's something I didn't have originally when I wanted to open. Is like, what was my exit plan? I don't know. I was going to run it till it burnt. I never had an exit plan. It's like now I know what I want if I want to get out of the industry. And so I think my goals have never been more blurry, but my goals have never been more clear at the same time. And I think no matter what I do in the next 10 years, my priorities have really been myself, my wife, and then our family. And then if it helps encourage that, then yeah, like we'll jump on board with the next opportunity. But if it doesn't align with those goals, then like I'm happy to stay where I'm at, you know? Yeah. So yeah, if that answers my, I don't know, like, yeah, I want to have a family. I think that's my most important tenure.
We love that. And we've loved this. This is, I think, Nate, clock it, might be the longest interview we've had.
Sorry.
No,
It's
in
fine.
a good way.
Cool.
So this has been a lot of fun. And we've loved having you here today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here with you guys.
We've
so.
learned a lot.
Yes.
And just for all the listeners, he said a lot of names I also didn't know. So if you're listening this with Google open, I will be doing the same when I listen.
Yeah. And thank you all for listening
Thank
to me
you.
ramble. And
We loved it.
yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And go Metro.
Yeah.
MCC Made with Emma Frazier and Katherine Ranks. Produced by Emma Frazier. Production support by Herdat.
Got a question for us? Email mccmade@mccneb.edu, and your question may be answered on a future podcast.